Hi, it's Ruben Taylor from Business Success Educators here, and super excited to be talking with Paul and Linda from the Green Life Soil Company about the journey that they've been going on with us. So to kick things off, I'd love you to introduce yourselves to the people watching this video.
Yeah, hi, I'm Linda, obviously, and
I'm Paul from the Green Life Soil Company.
And we've been with Ruben for at least 12 months, I would suggest. Time flies. And we've been in business, though, for a bit over 21 years, and we've certainly had some pretty harsh learnings over that time. But in the last couple of years, since we've had Ruben on board, he's given us a lot more structure and processes in order to have a successful business based on a strategy rather than just sheer luck, really. So, yeah.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what were some of the problems you were initially facing, or what you wanted to achieve when you first reached out and said, "Hey, let's just sit down and work out where to go."
I think the biggest problem we've always had is we're not detailed people. So structure, absolutely, around finance, around managing team members, and some of our processes. They've been the biggest struggle for us. I suppose from the outset, I wish we started coaching and coaching with you, Ruben, 21 years ago when we started. We would have saved a hell of a lot of time.
He was still in nappies 21 years ago. And the other kind of major challenge for our business is the seasonality, because our business revolves around gardening and gardening soils and gardening. We have real peaks and troughs in the year, and so for us, cash flow and managing cash flow has probably been our number one problem over that time.
Major challenge.
And why was it important for you to solve that problem, or to sort that out in the business?
Oh God, there's so many. I think it was just the sheer stress of wondering if we were going to make it through some of the down times, just due to cash flow.
Yep.
Because it's quite capital intensive. Like, we need quite a lot of stock, and it's quite expensive stock. So to keep that cash flow going, especially Linda, who's doing the finances, she was on some very tender hooks with some of our creditors. So
it just takes a lot of stress, that it's a very stressful situation to be in, and that affects everything in your life. It's not just your business. As your business owner knows, you bring that home with you every night, and so unless you've got things running smoothly, it affects every aspect of your life and your health. So you got to get on top of it.
Yes. Absolutely. Super, super important. So what would be the top, say, 3 parts of the program that's had the biggest impact, some of the stuff that we've worked on together that made the biggest difference?
It's got to be structure in the finances. So actually getting, your KPIs up and running.
Yes.
Absolutely. As we're still doing and developing the KPIs for managing staff and or team, and really working on the team. So getting the right people in the positions. The biggest thing for me would be the detail of all those, wouldn't it? Really, don't overlook the detail.
And also, I think it comes down to our education, because as a business owner, you're busy and you don't know what you don't know, and you need somebody to point those things out and guide you and continually beat you over the head with them until you learn the lesson in a gentle way. But it's really, as Ruben always says, you're the chokehold on your own business. So you've really got to overcome those obstacles and work with someone who can help you do that and keep you accountable to burst through the self-imposed ceilings or limitations that you've got to get there. So that's what having a coach does.
Absolutely. And so what are some of the results that you've achieved so far in the program?
Well, this year, in the last 6 months, we've sort of been able to increase that turnover up to 19%.
Yep.
And because of the seasonality that we were talking about, we were running a deficit in, for quite a few years.
Well, months of the year anyway.
Yeah, months of the year, or seasons of the year. But now we're averaging 16% net profit every month. So it is just that's just huge. It's absolutely good for us.
Yeah, so
that's extraordinary. Well done on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it's also given us the ability to put some structure in place with regard to our team, which has meant it's taken us out of the business that little bit more and given us the freedom to work more strategically on the business, so we can work from home and know that there are systems in place that will support the business without us being there all the time. So that's definitely been a goal for us, is to get some of our time back, and we can see that is happening. So it's great.
Fantastic. So how's that impacted you personally? So some of the financial results you've achieved, some of those time results, what flow on has that had to you?
Well, it's certainly helped our own personal financial situation. We are looking to be able to, purchase a new property. We're looking at, towards an exit plan for the business and our own kind of at least semi-retirement, a few years down the track, but we have goals to work towards that, and we can see that is now actually a possibility rather than being buried in financial concerns all the time. So it's definitely changed our perspective on lots of things.
And it's also helped build the business in that we can feel quite confident about putting people on in certain areas. So, we know that it's going to benefit us if we get the right person in a job, rather than us having to fill the gaps if there's any issues, customer service or something. Inevitably, someone calls in sick and then we would have to fall into that role, which made it hard to get away from the business.
Yep.
But now we're able to have good staff numbers. So that's
fantastic. Right, so finish this sentence. I almost didn't join the program because.
It's always about the cost.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the costs straight away until you actually get in there and it starts working, and then you feel, why didn't we start this earlier? Like the benefits. It's always the.
I guess, Paul's right. The coach is almost like having another employee in your business. So if you're looking at just the numbers, it can be hard to justify. But really, you've got to give it a try and see what the results are going to be for you, and finding a coach that's a good match for you, that will have the knowledge and also the ability to challenge you in the right way, I think is really important. So find one that's a good fit for you and your business.
Yes, absolutely. So what's been your favourite part of working with us?
Favourite part is it's broken down and made quite, fairly straightforward. You can start seeing what you got to do straight away. So it's not a smoke and mirrors kind of thing. It's really, bite-sized chunks. So it just takes the stress out of day-to-day processes. If right, I've just got to do this, I can see clearly what I've got to do, this is going to be the result. It's easy to do. It's easy to get motivated.
I don't think homework is anybody's favorite term, but I think just that clarity, and when you have got something on your mind and you've got somebody who can offer a different perspective, who's not, so close to things, that can stand back and offer you other points of view that you may not have considered or wouldn't have been able to consider yourself, because you can't see the forest for the trees. I think that's probably my favourite part of it, but not the homework.
Yeah. That's a good point, because if you are struggling financially, having someone like yourself, Ruben, on your side is a huge benefit, you know, as far as morale goes, because you feel like you're not just out in the wilderness on your own. You know, there's a different point of view, which is massive. Psychologically, it's huge.
Absolutely. So who would you recommend the program to, and why?
Anybody with their own business, really. Anybody who's struggling with any of these issues, whether it's being able to get in charge of cash flow, whether it's trying to implement structure and a team to try and extricate themselves from being in their own business every day, all day, and someone who's trying to sort of finally get some reward out of the business, because as a small business owner, it's a hard journey and nobody really understands it unless you're there. So that's kind of what I would say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Well done again on the results you've achieved, and here's to many, many more. And and that property down the track. So
Yay.